Hey guys, so I am in Hong Kong today. I'm going to apologize up front for the noise. It's really loud because it's raining and the rain has actually changed my plans. Originally I was going to be shooting further up the street, but I'll throw the picture up here on screen of the little video clip. Unfortunately, to do with the way that the wind is blowing the rain, I can't put my camera there because all the rain is just being blown into my lens. So I now have to change tactics. So I kind of know where I'm going to go. So I pretty much know where I'm going to go, and it's going to change it, and it's going to be a little bit different, but let's go ahead and try it because we have to make do. This is what the weather is. I'm still going to have to shoot. So let's jump in. Let's try and still get some shots. Alright, so I walked around those walkways for about 30 minutes or so, and I've kind of found two compositions that I'm happy with. I think they'd be better at night. I'll throw them up here on screen. The first one is kind of like a cross-section of buildings in the middle of downtown Central. I actually quite like this. It doesn't look great now. This is not the final image, be aware of that. This is more just an idea of composition. I think what will look really nice is when it's darker and I might be able to get some more tones in the buildings and in the sky. But then what I'll do is I'll shoot long exposure car light trails so we can kind of blend that in and make it look a little less distracting. I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how I can play around with that. I think that might be an interesting image, but again, I can't really get an idea of the look of it just yet because it's still raining and stuff like that. The second composition, I'm not super happy with, but I kind of like the leading lines aspect of it. I think if it wasn't so grey and we actually had a nice sunset, I think it would look really good. Because there's lots of sky action you could have in there. Unfortunately, it's just flat grey, so I don't know how it's going to work. Again, it really depends on what it looks like, what the sky looks like later on in about an hour or so, because it's currently about half four right now, and the sun's not meant to set until 6:40. So I've really got at least an hour to kill right now. So I'm just kind of waiting around and biding my time and hoping that the weather kind of clears out. I've been looking at both the AccuWeather and the iPhone weather app on my phone. They're both saying it's going to be chucking down with rain right now. There might be a thunderstorm at about 5, but then at about 6:30ish, it's actually meant to kind of clear up. And there's only like a 50% chance of rain. So that might be hopeful. And that's why I'm kind of hopeful that I can do something later on this evening. If not, then you won't be seeing this video, let's put it that way, if I can't get something out. But tomorrow I'm going out shooting as well, so if I can't get anything today, I'm okay for tomorrow as well. Okay guys, so I'm taking a bit of a risk here. As I was shooting, I've noticed that the rain has pretty much stopped at this point. Like none of the cars have got their wiper blades on or anything like that. So as I said, I'm taking a risk. I'm going to go back to the original location that I wanted to shoot, and I'm going to see if I can actually do it now. Because if the rain is pretty much stopped, then I'll be able to get my camera in the right position that I wanted it to be in. So I'm hoping we can do it. It's a big risk because if not, then I'm going to have to go back there and reshoot, and I won't have the same light. I should be able to do it if it does fail, but as I said, this is a risk because we've got some cool cloud kind of stuff which I might be able to fudge with. But this, as I said, I'm just going to run and gun it, see if we can do it. Let's hope it works. Okay, so it is still raining, unfortunately, but it's on and off. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stay here. It's meant to not rain later. I'm just going to stick with it. But because it's raining in and out, the rain is getting in on the lens. So what I'm doing is I've made sure the lens is clean, and I've set it all up before. I've pre-focused on the building, got it in manual, FA, ISO 100, usual kind of stuff. And then I've set it into manual focus, and I've put the lens cap on. And then when the lens cap was on, I made sure it was all clean, lens cap's on, and I've set my whole camera up to do brackets, you know, -2, -1, 0, +1, all the rest of it. What I do is I wait for it to be dry, take it off, set it on timer. There you go, and it shot all my brackets, and I put it back on. That way I have all of my shots. Let me just double check that worked. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And in the darkest exposure, the -2, there is some good cloud detail. So we can definitely pull some of that up, make it nice and grungy, make the cityscape nice and grungy. And then what we have is we have the leading lines of these roads going towards and into the building. Because you can see both IFC buildings in this, the Bank of China building, there's lots of Hong Kong buildings. The view behind me, some Hong Kong buildings, but not that much. So that's why I've done this one, because I want the shots of the IFC. You may have noticed I'm also doing it portrait mode. This is the second time I've ever shot in portrait mode. So this is twice now in a couple of months. Now the main thing that I've got to be prepping next is I'm actually going to throw the polarizer on this. So I'm going to prep all that stuff beforehand. So on the last second, all I need to do is just plop it on. Just play with the polarizer a little bit just so I can get good balance and good contrast in the sky. Take my shot, take it off, done. So then I have my contrasty shot with the polarizer. And then I leave the camera exactly as it is until it's later at night. Then I'll maybe throw the little stopper on to get really long light trails. We'll see how that goes, but then we'll just do the light trail stuff and then we're good. We have the shot. Okay, so I just tried the polarizer and it's not gonna work. Because I'm so zoomed out at 24 millimeters, there's really harsh vignetting happening with the polarizer. And it's just not worth trying to zoom in anymore to get rid of that vignetting. Yes, I could get rid of it, but it's really glaring and quite jarring, and I just don't want to deal with it. So we end up not having to use the polarizer tonight. It's not for the faint-hearted to use with rain as well. And speaking of rain, I'm starting to get a little bit nervous just with the amount of rain that is coming on the camera. Yeah, it's drizzle, so it's not that bad. But you have to remember, this Sigma lens is not weather sealed. So we're gonna look, it's just raindrops for now. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. If it gets any worse or any heavier, then I will move it away because I'm gonna have to. But it shouldn't be too bad, but that's something to think about is just the weather sealing on your stuff. If you're gonna be doing it in the rain, make sure you do have weather sealing. The 5D Mark III is weather sealed, it's just the lens. The Sigma lens is not. It's one of the few bad downsides of this lens. I'm gonna shoot a couple more brackets for this because I've had to recompose a couple of times. Then we will wait. Then we will put a little stopper on, and then we will be done. Promise. Hey guys, so for you eagle-eyed viewers, you probably noticed that I am not shooting anymore. And the truth is, I got really frustrated. I waited until it was dark, as you can see. Unfortunately, it was still raining, which made the shots quite hard because I was constantly having to clean water off the lens and trying to clean it off the filters and stuff like that. But the real kicker and the bit that really got me was there was a light just outside of my composition. I don't know if I've caught a clip of it. Hopefully if I have, I'll throw it up on screen. There was a light just offside of composition which was throwing a massive lens flare across my lens. And no matter what I did, whether I put my lens hood or recomposed it, it was just showing up. And that really drove me nuts because there wasn't much I could do in terms of composition. I couldn't change it all that much. And because I had to change it in order to see if I could get rid of the lens flare, it basically ruined all the work I had done beforehand. Just in case you know, it is still raining. You might be able to hear it. So, and even when I managed to get the lens flare kind of off the shot, whenever rain appeared, the rain would just catch that light and it would just give a massive lens flare over it. So it was really frustrating. I know that's not a great excuse. Just switching hands here for a sec. It's not a great excuse, I know that. But this last few, it's been kind of frustrating dealing with not having good weather. I mean, this does happen. That's why I'm going to put this out. I've decided I'm going to put this vlog out, even though I haven't really got a final image to show you, because this is what happens when you go out and shoot. Sometimes you just don't get the shot. But it's been pretty annoying for me recently because I have been traveling a lot, and that's not something to complain about. I love traveling, especially with my family like I have been doing. But that's left very few weekends to shoot, because remember, I have a day job, so I don't have that much time to shoot in weekends and stuff like that. And the last few weekends that I have gone to try out and shoot, I've had to cancel it because of rain and bad weather and things like that. Like at the time of this recording last weekend, I was gonna go out and shoot and do like a meetup kind of thing and do some time-lapse stuff with Trigger Trap. But I had to cancel it because there was a thunderstorm in Shanghai, and the weather here in Hong Kong was amazing. It was super nice. It was like 25 degrees and sunny, and I know this because my dad was iMessaging me and gloating. So I've come over to Hong Kong this weekend, the following weekend, and it's raining, and it's nice in Shanghai because, again, my dad sent me iMessages and pictures showing me how nice it is. So you may be wondering to yourself, well, you've had great weather, and that's because you've only seen the vlogs with great weather. I have gone out and shot a lot of times and just had bad weather, and I've just had to can it. So this is just part of shooting, I know. It's just really frustrating for me because next weekend, I'm going away for 2 weeks again. Me and Dad are doing a trip that he's wanted to do for a while, so we're doing that, and I don't have that many vlogs to shoot really. I'm here tomorrow, and I was planning on going to Tayo, which is like a fishing village kind of thing. It's not very far from my house, and tomorrow's weather is meant to be better. I just kind of caught the bad end of a storm here. There was a thunderstorm that was meant to roll through, and it didn't, but it's still raining here. So I'm gonna have to cut this short in a little bit because I have to jump on my ferry, but I don't know. I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll decide if I go to Tayo or I come back here to Central and try and do that same shot. I just don't know. But again, this is part of what happens in shooting. Sometimes you just don't get a shot. It's just frustrating for me because I haven't had a chance to go out and shoot much in the last few months. I mean, we're in April now, and I've only gone out and shot one picture. That's really frustrating to me. So hopefully you don't mind this kind of ending on a bit of a down note, I guess. But as I said, this is just part of life sometimes with shooting. So with that being said, I'm gonna call it a night and head home. So hope you've kind of enjoyed this one, and I hope you've learned the lesson that, you know, sometimes you just don't get the shot. I'll see you tomorrow, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.